What's this? Today, let's discover Trine. This was one of the first games that I ever played when I first found Steam. Way back while I was working on my writing degree. And since it was released in 2009, I was still behind the times, but to me, it was a new discovery, so I knew that this week was going to be awesome for me. It takes place in a dark, medieval world of death and gloom, similar to Dragon's Crown. So with a cover like this to sell the game, why would I praise the game's beauty? Because the game itself looks like this. Why would you market your game like that? With such a dark, foreboding box, the only element of the design showing the style and colors of your real game being the text? At best, somebody's gonna buy the game and then be upset at how magical and beautiful it looks because they were expecting something dark and mysterious and gritty. At worst, people are gonna look at the box and say, I don't want another stupid, dark, gritty game about the medieval period, and pass it by completely. Enough with introductions, though. Let's assume you got past that box art and bought the game, probably on Steam like me, where it's more clear what you're going to get. The game opens introducing us to our three main protagonists up for the game, one at a time. The thief sneaks her way into the abandoned resting place of the great treasure. At the same time, a mage who can conjure amazing mechanical constructs, yet is considered a failure because he cannot cast a fireball spell, wakes from a failed experiment, sees the light of the artifact, and tries to seize it from the thief. Finally, a slightly inept knight who has made a pledge to himself to protect the shrine realizes that others are inside and rushes in to try to also save the artifact. All three touch one side of the glowing white triangle and are teleported away, all now existing in one body. The artifact is called the Trine and has chosen them to save the kingdom. So gameplay consists of swapping between the characters to solve puzzles and complete platforming challenges. The thief has a bow and arrow and can throw a grappling hook to attach to any wooden surface above her. I also feel that her jump goes the highest and is the easiest to control. The knight, in contrast, feels stiff to jump with. He's adequate, and the game developers definitely didn't hobble him to create challenge through cheap means, though. He has a sword attack, which is the easiest source of damage, and a shield that can block anything. Finally, the wizard summons mechanical platforms and boxes. His jump is somewhere in the middle, and he has the most dangerous attacks in the game. Yes, I'm serious, the wizard is deadly. His second ability is to move objects in the environment, including his own created constructs. So for perspective, you've just begun the game. The knight can kill enemies in several sword swings. It takes several fully charged arrows from the thief to accomplish the same task. But if you pick up a box with the wizard, move it over an enemy, and then move it down onto their head, they instantly die. This will remain true for the entire game, allowing for incredibly cheap kills. You could summon a small plank somewhere, grab it with magic, and then bring it down on the enemy's head long before they've ever become a threat. This actually leads to possibly my only complaint about this game: the wizard breaks the game. Literally, the wizard breaks the challenge of the game. Firstly, throughout the game you can find treasure chests with special items inside that characters can hold. Some give more mana, or more health, or an extra life, and some are specialized to one of the three characters. The wizard's special items generally allow him to have more of his summons on the screen. By the end of the game, I could control 6 boxes, 4 planks, and a floating triangle at once. So you'll encounter tough challenges that you're meant to think outside the box to solve, and instead you simply overcome it with a giant stack of boxes planked on top of the floating platform, planked to where you need to go. Walls of spikes that would be impassable barriers become the jokes of the game, because boxes and planks stick in place if lodged into spikes, creating platforms for the characters to freely stand up and scale an otherwise insurmountable obstacle, without ever paying attention to how the puzzle was meant to be dealt with. This is doubly apparent with the experience bottles. Throughout the levels are scattered experience bottles that can help you upgrade the trio's abilities. As the levels progress, the bottles get harder and harder to obtain, having to think outside the box to get to them. At least, that's what the intention is. They thought ahead, and the wizard can't just float bottles down to you, so there's no way to cheat your way to getting them, right? No, like everything else in the game, the bottles are affected by physics and gravity. So if you summon a small plank, then float it across the ceiling, that difficult to reach bottle will be knocked loose and drop down. But this sounds like I'm being pretty harsh on the game, and I'm really not. It's an excellent game, and even though you can seemingly cheat your way through some of the challenges, you always feel smart for figuring out how to do it. The movements feel fluid and responsive, and there are some challenges you can't cheat your way through. You really have to switch characters and solve them on your own. They're never confusing or obscure, just can take a few moments of thought and a little bit of skill. Even if you mess up and one of your trio dies, all you have to do is make it to the next checkpoint. All party members will regain half their max health with each new checkpoint, making the game an enjoyable challenge that's never too frustrating. I know I also tend to talk about how great the music in games is, but this game is genuinely awesome. I know I've said I listen to some soundtracks in my day-to-day life, but I've actually played songs from this game on the radio. That's not a joke. In my old college, I had a radio show, and I would include songs from this soundtrack on my show from time to time. It has an epic scale that reflects the magnitude of this medieval adventure, yet it's magical and light enough to complement the fairy tale nature of this game. Kinda like the story of King Arthur. We've gotten away from the story, but it really is the least impressive part of the game. The Trine is one of 3 magical artifacts, the other 2 of which have been seized by evil. The trio must work their way across the lands to confront the ultimate evil and reunite the 3 artifacts so that they will purge the evil from the lands. Once the land is free, the artifacts restore balance and people can live in the kingdom once more. They elect a new king, which I'm fairly certain is not how kings work, but hey, why spoil a happy ending with politics? And he rewards our 3 heroes. The knight has no interest in becoming the leader of the king's men, instead becoming what he always wanted to be, the king's royal ale provider. I can't tell how much providing is going on there, but hey, your king's elected, who am I to quibble? The thief was offered riches, but she instead asked for dominion over the forests, and it was granted. This was probably the easiest request for the king, since the forest was a ruin, nobody lived there, he actually wasn't doing anything with the land anyway, and I'm just ruining a happy ending again, aren't I? Then again, the game helps to do that in its final moments with the mage. Apparently the king offered him absolutely nothing for saving the kingdom, and instead he simply got married to some woman named Margaret, and she gave birth to triplets, and all 3 children mastered the fireball spell that the mage simply could not learn before they were even 1 year old. But despite being set on fire by his children, the game assures us that they all lived happily ever after. What that implies for this game having 2 sequels now, I'm not sure. Happily Ever After doesn't leave a lot of opening for more conflict in games, now does it? So in the end, we have a game with predictable story, easy puzzles, and effectively the ability to cheat your way through the game, and I'd happily pick it up and play it again anytime. The art style and music are absolutely beautiful, and the characters are interesting even if they're not the deepest, and the controls are fluid and handled very nicely, and all 3 characters can feel unique and distinct without any one character ever feeling useless. It's certainly not that long of a game, and because of its age you can pick it up really cheap in Steam sales, which I would certainly encourage you to do. So, did any of you guess that it was going to be this game from last week? I very much doubt it, because of what a weird clip that was. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and next week we're going to be doing another game that I really thought I was going to enjoy, same as this one, and didn't turn out that way. So, I'll see you all then, and remember, life is always a game waiting to be discovered.